Alright guys, again it's Jerningham here. They're talking about damak. UK government confirms the Glasgow Coppers a 26 climate conference will be posted. I don't know what that's supposed to mean anyway, but something about that, I don't know. Becoming the third prisoner to die in a custody after testing positive for the coronavirus. Police launch a murder investigation. A man and a woman were found dead, multiple stab wounds at an address of Lambeth, with 6 people already arrested on suspicion of murder, which I've read about that already, as people don't know. I'm just doing a recap. To help these affected, you can diamond the www.nations margin original UK coronavirus. As Beth is speaking on there, the lady called Beth Rigby. More and more Sky News Daily posted available for downloads for people. Procast Google posted on Spotify. Skynews.com. NetNewsSky.com. Your reports to Sky on Facebook.com. News. And Twitter Sky. Top stories. Divestment of health. Confirmed 3,052 people have died after testing positive 19, which is an increase of the UK 563 reported deaths seen yesterday, and there are now 29,474 cases. Traded Union shows the June the one person.
To test as many staff as possible. The mass
Working as the crisis
is still a long way off.
Called for the government.
A tiny portion have been tested so far, and the government insists it will
they do more tests in Germany than they do in England.
Testing facility, but tens of thousands of tests could be carried out in private labs across the country, and there are growing calls for those to be put to use. Here's our technology correspondent Roland Manthorpe on the UK's testing capacity.
A brief glimpse of one of the world's most important processes.
People are embarrassed because more tests are in Germany than they are in the UK.
This small laboratory in Oxford normally handles urinary tract samples. Now its owner, entrepreneur Mike Fisher, has turned it over to coronavirus tests.
We started about a week ago in serious, and we're up to 100 tests a day using a very conservative kit. As we get more proficient at the logistics, we could easily scale it up to 500 tests a day.
The team sent us these pictures from the closed room where they do the testing. Putting samples into these specialised polymerase chain reaction machines, or PCR.
There's been a lot of worry about testing kits and chemicals for testing. But if you talk to medical researchers, they say that isn't the issue, because they can be mass-produced. What can't be are PCR machines and the people who can operate them. And that's why they have to be working at full capacity.
That prospect just got a boost, because Mike, who founded stock photography company Alamy, has given £1 million to support the idea. Some have high hopes.
With 14,000 of these PCR machines, which are in every university lab,
London School of
lab in Britain, so I'm sure we've got
Tropical Medical Professional
if
Jewel
people are already operating those machines, doing other things, turned over to testing for the virus, you could test everybody.
They seem to be very slow with these sort of things in the UK, as we all know.
To ramp up testing for frontline
Other
staff,
countries are quicker and faster.
requisitioned PCR
Or they need
machines
the
for a
staff to help.
centralised lab, the testing equivalent of a factory production line. NHS bosses say the most urgent requirement is getting that system up to speed.
Anything is
Less staff, in my opinion.
Can up the
You guys
numbers
would
even
agree,
by
but
a few
yeah.
hundred or a few thousand a day. That will be immensely helpful. But what I'm saying is that this is a national problem that also
Police have
needs a
launched.
national solution,
It keeps repeating the
as well
same
as a
bloody
number
thing on the
of
bar. You can see the
smaller,
bomb.
innovative solutions.
To test the nation, every contribution will be needed, from the very big to the very small.
I mean, perhaps some people don't know about the murder there in Lambeth, but it's very saddening news.
A famous rescue.
Virus pandemic helps those most affected.
Roland Manthorpe, Sky News, in Oxford.
Well, as we've heard, the UK has recorded the biggest jump in the number of deaths from the coronavirus in a single day. And while the numbers alone are worrying, it's the rate
More
of
news,
increase
more
which is
Sky
giving us
Daily
cause for concern.
posted available
Here's our
downloads
economics editor now, Ed
from
Conway.
Apple. Procast Google.
As you know, I spend a lot of time in front of this screen looking at economic data, getting excited about it, jumping around. But in fact, the data that we're getting on COVID-19 is very depressing indeed, I'm afraid. Starting with this chart, this shows you the number of new cases.
17th of March, 17th, 18th of March, 19th, 20th March, 21, 22, 23 of March, 24th of March, 25th of March, 26th of March, 27th of March, 28th of March, 29th of March, 30th of March, this one, March, 1st of April.
To look at the number of people who are dying of
New
COVID-19.
coronavirus cases: Germany, US, France, UK, Spain, South Korea, China,
countries like Italy and Spain. But the problem
and
with this
Italy.
chart is it's showing you absolute levels. It's not showing you exponential growth. We need to look at the growth rates, and when we convert this into a logarithmic chart, we're basically looking
And
at
India
data
and South.
Well, you see, it's a very different picture, isn't it? You see the UK is
Africa is not on there either. Got problems as well. And Germany.
US and Germany and other countries in Europe as well. And when we look at the UK's path and compare it to Italy's, let's have a look, starting at the moment that each country passed 100 people dying. And for the first 8 days...
Italy's rise, 1,039 deaths, 8 days to 30 days increase. UK's 567 deaths, 8 days, 24 daily increase.
In comparison to Italy, a lot lower and a 24% increase. But look at what happens over the following 6 days, the 6 days we've just gone through at the moment. Italy's curve started to flatten.
20% increase, Italy's 6 days. UK next 6 days, 27 days increased.
Actually getting steeper than it was before, 27% up each day. Now, that
Show the sky.
we are where
DS,
we are at the moment.
yeah.
So over 2,000,
2,352
in
UK.
hospitals. And the worry is those lines are starting to narrow. And we know where Italy is now, a long way up there. But if the UK carries on with its current growth rate of number of people dying of COVID-19, well, it could overtake Italy. And be up at about 10,000 deaths in around a week. And, you know, these are lines, it's a chart, but behind every one of these
10,000 deaths a week in England.
This data, there are many families, thousands of families facing losses, facing tragedies around this country. And unfortunately, the news at the moment isn't very promising.
Well, among those now touched by the tragedy brought by the pandemic is the family of Dr. Alpha Sadhu, a leading NHS doctor who died on Tuesday after contracting
Doctor died on Tuesday.
He was working in a hospital in Hertfordshire without
Hertfordshire,
any
England.
equipment, preferring to leave it to his colleagues on the front line. And now several major unions have joined forces to warn that a continued shortage of safety equipment is exposing NHS staff to...
Every other country's got more equipment, or they see they're struggling, or they need more ventilators to make.
Alex Crawford reports on a family's grief and the dangers faced by NHS staff.
NHS medics are dying, and Dr. Alpha Sadhu is one.
Rest in peace. So I could say, really, it's very saddening news about this news for a lot of people.
He was also a devoted grandfather. He was working with elderly patients just 1 day a week with no protective equipment, yet still managed to catch the virus. His condition deteriorated on Sunday after 2 weeks of staying at home, but he resisted using up stretched NHS resources.
We said goodbye to him, not knowing that would be the last time we'd see him. And after that, from Sunday evening to Tuesday morning, he just deteriorated. Body shut down, organ failure. I've never seen anything. You know, both my parents are doctors. I'm quite experienced or quite experienced with different diseases and viruses that are out there, but I've never seen anything like this.
7 unions have called the lack of PPE a crisis within a crisis, saying medics are being exposed to unreasonable and unnecessary risk by the failure to provide.
I don't know about you guys, but I wish they changed the thing at the bottom of the bar. I've read it already, and some people have not seen it.
Which is happening right now.
It's just as different as the people that are talking in it.
Human beings who have families who are terrified for our safety, and we are terrified for their safety, because the reality is that we could be bringing this virus home to the people that we love most.
Many health workers are buying protective equipment themselves or getting donations, amid claims that complaints directly to the media are met with threats and pressure to stop.
We've been hearing from frontline doctors in their droves who have concerns about personal protective equipment, about the lack of testing of frontline staff. And as they've raised these concerns locally,
I think everyone's worried about this coronavirus, as we all know. People are probably sick of talking about it, or it gets rammed down your throat. Like, remember Brexit at some point, guys? That got rammed down your throat as well. People got sick of that. You turn the channel over, but who knows?
For Dr. Sadi's family, the loss is immeasurable, and his son Danny warned others to take the virus seriously.
I remember when Boris Johnson said on the news a few weeks ago, he said, be prepared to lose loved ones. And at the time when he said it, I got really angry. I just thought, this is not a movie. Why are you saying this? You're over-dramatizing this. And I now understand what he means. I've learned the hard way. People really need to take this seriously. This isn't a joke.
His father is viewed as a hero by
many. No, it's not a joke, it's not a game, it's really happening, it's reality.
All these statistics are real people.
All
real
these
lives
people,
lost,
yeah.
Leaving real families behind. Alex Crawford, Sky News, North London.
Typical.
And you can see a special documentary about the coronavirus outbreak in northern Italy. That's tonight on Sky News. Stuart Ramsey and his team revealed a harrowing crisis.
What kind of world do we living in?
And in towns in Lombardy. That's coronavirus into the red zone. It's on Sky Atlantic at 8 p.m. and then on Sky News at 9 p.m. Now, the government insists protective equipment is starting to get to the healthcare staff that need it. The Department of Health saying that 397 million pieces have been delivered in the last 2 weeks. But it isn't just hospital staff that say they are lacking what they need. Paramedics are often the first point of contact that patients have with the health service. Caterina Vitozzi has been out with some of the healthcare workers on the front line, and she reports now on the risks to paramedics.
Many have called this a battle, which means for this paramedic, this isn't just an apron, it's a shield.
The apron, thin PVC apron, obviously doesn't cover full uniform. We actually normally use these for cleaning the ambulances after a messy job.
Along with gloves and a surgical face mask, this is what the government says is safe enough for day-to-day interactions with a confirmed or suspected COVID-19 case. But this paramedic wanted to speak out. This kit, he says, is putting people at risk.
Initially, we struggled with supplies of PPE. We're getting lots of supplies of PPE, but now it seems like a lot of it is substandard and inappropriate. A lot of us feel that we end up wearing a uniform for a 12-hour shift, that if you've entered someone's house that has possibly got COVID-19, that uniform's not being covered properly. You don't feel you want to leave one patient to walk into a care home and then plant that virus in a care home for it to spread around elderly, high-risk patients. And unfortunately, that's probably going to happen.
What this paramedic wants is more robust protection like this.
What could one say?
But it's currently only recommended when in high-risk areas or doing more invasive procedures. It can leave paramedics heading into the unknown feeling exposed.
We have been finding that a lot of PPE has been distributed to a wider part of the healthcare system. And for ambulance services, they do seem to be struggling to try and get that supply of personal protective equipment. It is incredibly challenging, and I think what we need to do is we just need to make sure that the paramedic, the frontline healthcare professional, is not forgotten.
Public Health England told us that their protective equipment guidelines match that of the World Health Organization, but that they would soon be updating them.
Drinking the beer, look at that, cool as light.
I'm sure it will come through eventually, but that's the unfortunate thing. We're already in the middle of this, and it should have been there in the first place. We shouldn't be having to muddle our way through it, feeling unprotected. It does make you feel vulnerable.
And right now, these are key workers we can't afford to lose. Caterina Vitozzi, Sky News.
Businesses were promised government support to survive the shutdown on the economy, but many say they've been unable to access the funding on offer, prompting the business secretary to warn that it would be completely unacceptable if any banks were unfairly refusing funds to businesses in financial difficulty. Paul Kelso reports now on the businesses facing an uncertain future.
Shops closed, streets almost deserted, The question for businesses in an economy forced into suspended animation is not who needs help, but who doesn't. Rowena is battling to keep her boutique in business, but while banks have been asked to step in with emergency loans of up to £5 million, 80% guaranteed by the taxpayer, she's among those frustrated by attempts to even apply for help.
It's been an absolute nightmare trying to apply for these loans. Access to funding just isn't there at the moment. I have defaulted on my rent as of Wednesday. I have about £25,000 worth of bills that immediately need to be paid, which when we just haven't had the business for the last 3-4 weeks is very hard to do.
12 years ago, the state bailed out the banks. Now they have a chance to return the favour by coming to the aid of thousands of businesses that could face ruin because of a health emergency that may yet have graver economic and social consequences, even than the financial crisis. They certainly have money to lend after agreeing a request from the Bank of England to cancel dividend payments to shareholders due this month. Barclays shareholders were expected to be paid over £1 billion, Lloyds £1.58 billion, HSBC was due to pay out £3.5 billion, and RBS, still 60% taxpayer-owned, had expected to pay shareholders £968
Talking about
million.
banks, by the way.
The business secretary warned banks to get on and lend the money they've saved.
It would be completely unacceptable if any banks were unfairly refusing funds to good businesses in financial difficulty.
The banks insist they're working to deal with tens of thousands of inquiries, but admit they've not been able to process applications fast enough.
The banks have done an incredible job in mobilising in the front line, but I recognise that the speed of implementation is not as fast as frankly we would all like.
Even with these loans, some business leaders fear the lockdown will have a catastrophic impact.
We can get poorer and poorer and poorer, but I'm not sure people realise just what the consequences will be. We don't want to enter into something like the Great Depression because that, wrecked the world economy for over a decade.
Rowena is determined her business will survive for its staff and customers, but without tangible support in a hurry, many doors closed by this crisis may never open again. Paul Kelso, Sky News.
Well, many people who've been in self-isolation may have found it strange, frustrating and often distressing experience. And so it has been for Prince Charles, who revealed his experience of having the coronavirus. Now back to work, he said his thoughts are with the public and the key workers keeping the country going. Our royal correspondent Rhiannon Mills reports now on the Prince's message to the nation.
I now find myself on the other side of the illness, but still in no less a state of social distance and general isolation.
The first time we've heard from Prince Charles since he had the virus, and he wanted to send his thoughts to those who've been less fortunate.
At such an unprecedented and anxious time in all our lives, my wife and I are thinking particularly of all those who have lost their loved ones in such very difficult and abnormal circumstances.
In early March, he had been vigilant, not shaking hands at royal engagements, but he still managed to catch COVID-19 and for 7 days was in isolation at his home in Scotland. Last week, videos of the Duchess of Cornwall and Prince Charles clapping for the NHS were released, along with Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis and Prince George at their home in Norfolk. Again, their grandfather wanted to send his thanks to medical staff and everyone doing their bit.
Our thoughts and prayers are very much with those marvellous people. Extraordinary skills and utter selfless devotion to duty and the care of their patients make us so very proud.
Camilla is still in isolation, even though she doesn't have any symptoms. But Prince Charles said both their hearts go out to other older people and charities like Age UK and Silverline working so hard to look after them.
I think this message from Prince Charles has been an enormous boost to our morale, speaking as an older person myself, and to the charities he names, particularly Age UK and the Silverline, because these are really tough times for us.
The Queen, seen here on the phone to Boris Johnson last week, remains at Windsor Castle as discussions will be going on behind the scenes as to when she may give a televised address. The government know that messages from the royal family can be very effective in rallying the country at times like these.
None of us can say when this will end, but end it will. Until it does, let us try and live with hope and with faith in ourselves and each other.
Rhiannon Mills, Sky News.
Well, the pandemic has caused a series of major events planned for later this year to be cancelled or postponed. The Wimbledon Tennis Championships have been cancelled for the first time since World War II. The All England Club made the announcement that the world's oldest Grand Slam tournament won't go ahead in 2020 after an emergency meeting. The COP26 UN Climate Change Conference, set to take place in Glasgow in November, has now been postponed. Dates for a rescheduled conference in 2021, hosted in Glasgow by the UK in partnership with Italy, will be decided at a later date. And the annual summer festivals in Edinburgh have been cancelled for the first time in 70 years. The International Festival, Festival Fringe, Art Festival, International Book Festival, and the Royal Military Tattoo will no longer take place as planned. Coming up on Sky News, how performers are raising spirits.
Well, guys, I think you all enjoyed that video. If you want to see more, watch it on YouTube or see it on our YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed this one. Give it a like, give it a comment, share it with your friends, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you for joining me, guys. See you in the next one. Peace.
When you arrive at this point, you realize that you are not enough.
It's not a place beyond COVID. People keep describing it as like flu. It's worse than that.
No, it's a very severe pneumonia.
It's just a disaster. It's a disaster.
Right, I'd better end this video. Thank you for joining me. Peace. See you in the next one. I will be doing some more videos like this, so come and join me. See you in the next one. Peace. Give it a like, give it a comment, and the notification bell. Peace.